and welcome to Ask Craft. I'm Becky Stern. Today's question comes from Violet. Violet asks, quite often when I'm crafting, I need to sew a loop of elastic, such as inside a waistband. I slightly overlap the two ends of the elastic, and using my machine to run a quick line of stitching, try to attach them together. Inevitably, I'm left with a gigantic mess of thread, knotted and clumped on the underside of the fabric. Sure, it holds the pieces together, but it's not pretty, doesn't lay flat, and in short, not good. Can you help? My machine is in great shape, and I'm using sharp needles. Thanks, Violet. So, Violet, I understand what you're talking about. It happens to me, too. Here are two examples of me trying to sew elastic together with the method you just described. It's all clumped on the bobbin side. Not really that fun. So, there are three techniques that I use to get elastic to lay flat. One is sewing the elastic overlapped, but when you sew it, you pull the elastic tight so that when you sew, the rubber can't be pulled down towards the bobbin side of the sewing machine. What happens is elastic is made up of strands of rubber encased in fiber. So when you sew through it, the stretchy rubber catches on the needle and has a lot of friction and pulls down into the sewing machine, creating basically a giant mess of thread. So if you are to stretch out those fibers of rubber, when you sew, they won't be as inclined to get pulled into your machine. Another way I use is to sew a zigzag stitch with the two pieces of elastic right next to each other, so that I'm not really sewing through two layers of elastic at the same time, but rather one at a time, zigzagging, and then I might do that more than once to get a secure hold. The third way, and this works particularly well if you're making a waistband, is to sew the elastic into the casing, secure it to itself and the casing at the same time. So you're not really sewing through just elastic, you're sewing through layers of fabric as well. And that means that when the elastic rubber catches on the needle and pushes down into the machine, that underlayer of fabric will catch the rubber back up again and not let it catch on the thread. So I hope that helps you, Violet. If you have any success and you want to add your pictures to the craft flicker pool, that would be great. And if you have any questions, you can email me at becky@craftscene.com, and I'll see you next week.